Good morning. Welcome to episode 24 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful, sunny, and I guess very spring-like confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching and listening, I thank you as always. As always, like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Today, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to hop into the NBA news and notes from a couple days ago. I wanted to give you guys a couple days to kind of digest everything that happened, me, myself included. It was a very busy weekend, had family things going on, so it was just ton of things going on, but more or less we're going to hop right into it. We're going to start off with the series that I feel that needs to get talked about the most. And I know you guys are going to probably think it. I may go a completely different direction with this. I'm going to tell you now. It's going to be Pacers and Knicks. We're going to speak on this series first. Before I go off on the Knicks, I want to make sure that I give credit and props to the Pacers. The Indiana Pacers. And I don't think a lot of people, the general, average fan knows much about the Indiana Pacers this year. Maybe they saw, if they watched during the season, they saw them in the play-in tournament. Or the in-season tournament, excuse me. Maybe you saw them during stretches of the season when they played Milwaukee. I don't know. I do know this, though. That team has been a solid team all year. That team has given teams hell. They have been this is literally the first Indiana team that has made the playoffs since 2014. So that should just give you an idea of how long it's been and how hard the fight's been in the struggle. And these guys have been just fucking phenomenal. That being said, when they've played half-court offense throughout the year, even in the postseason, if you guys have watched my shows and watched early in the year, I've stated the pace slowed them down. That half-court offense was not working for them. When they played early in the postseason, the first round, I said that pace is something that was giving Milwaukee fits. They're going to have to figure out that's something they can continue to do. And boy, oh boy, if it has not worked for them. Damn, that pace was phenomenal in that game. It was bad. Just end to end. The Knicks had to have their running shoes on, and they weren't prepared. They just completely weren't prepared. We all knew there were injuries going on. There was other things that led into that. Again, I'm going to get on the Knicks in a second. I just want to make sure I'm giving credit to the Pacers. Phenomenal pace by the Pacers. Is that funny? Phenomenal pace by the Pacers. Nonetheless, you got to give the Pacers fucking credit. They were phenomenal. They did a great job. Outstanding. And speaking of which, a historical night. 67% shooting from the field as a team. I'll be honest with you. As I told y'all, I'll be 36 in July. I ain't never seen no shit like that. So that there in itself, congratulations. And then to not only shoot 67% from the field, but to then hit 54% from three-point range, never in my life has seen that done. Phenomenal job, phenomenal night. Pacers were in killer mode. They were on an attack from the beginning, and it showed. It just showed. I want to give a shout out to TJ McConnell. I remember TJ McConnell living in the tri-state area. I remember TJ McConnell when he played on the Sixers, when they were going through those process years. They were, complete fucking garbage. And B wasn't healthy. Ben Simmons wasn't playing, yada, yada, whatever. Nonetheless, TJ McConnell was a scrappy dude. He wasn't really a great scorer, but he was a guy coming in, hitting some shots, making some clutch threes, playing gritty, But he didn't last really on the team. The team was moving in a different direction, and he just wasn't a guy that was going to fit in the rotation. That being said, to see that performance that he put out there the other night, coming off the bench, was phenomenal. His energy and passion on defense was bar none. He clearly showed you that he was coming in there to kill and take the fucking Knicks' heart, and that's what he did. 12 points, 7 assists, 2 rebounds. Coming off your bench, that's what you want. And he played great. And I just want to make sure I take a moment to give him a shout out. They will be a tough out for Boston. I know they play Boston tonight. Y'all definitely, first game of the Eastern Conference Finals is on tonight. Definitely make sure you check that out. Pacers at Boston. But they're going to be a tough out for Boston, especially with Porzingis being out the first 2 games of the series. And I'm going to be honest with you. Porzingis is the linchpin for the Boston Celtics to win this series. I do think the fact that Indiana just got finished playing a day or so ago, and Indiana got finished playing a day or so ago, and Boston's rested. I do think that does help Boston with this game tonight. That being said, they have to be on upset alert. This is not a team you can sleep on. The fact that you don't have Porzingis means they have size that you can't really contend with, and you're going to need Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to go off. You're going to need that bench to show up. This isn't the Cavs. So you're really going to have to play hard and gritty to beat this team. And they have a legit chance. So that's all I can say. I haven't picked the winner yet. I think I'll say here, I do think Boston's going to win the series. I mean, I was wrong, obviously, about the Nuggets and Wolves. Damn, I was wrong about that. But nonetheless, I wanted to make sure that I say this. I do think the Celtics are going to win the series. However, they have to be on upset alert against Indiana. Indiana is a tough team. Indiana is a tough out. And they have the size and contention to beat them. So just shout out and credit to the Pacers, man. Great series, great series. And shout out to Tyrese Halliburton for wearing that Reggie Miller, doing the choke hoodie back in 95, I believe it was 94, 95 against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Either way, it personified the moment in pure essence. I mean, it was just poetic justice. The choke was there. From them yelling, "Fuck you, Reggie," at the Garden, to that moment, it was beautiful. It's beautiful to see. That being said, we're going to get on the Knicks. Before I dig into that ass, I want to make sure that I give props. They had a decent season. We all know they were injured down the stretch. We all know that, if they had been healthier, the series possibly could have been different. That being said, looking back at the whole series, they choked. I mean, the Tyrese Halliburton hoodie was just perfect to personify the series. You had the lead. You had it. You blew it. You had it. And this is the thing that cracks me up. Knicks fans were you saw Stephen A on First Take, giddy as shit. I'm running into people I've known my whole life, never even knew they liked the Knicks. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to do it. We're getting to the conference final." I'm like, wait. Can you win this series first? We're going to beat the Pacers. The Pacers are ass. They ain't got nobody. Anyway, that being said, also, something that Indiana showed was that your bench depth is fucking garbage. I mean, you have the Villanova guys. Credit to you for that. Outside of that, you need more. It's not enough. It's not getting it done. They really fucking choked this whole series. And then I really want you to sit on this. Think about this. In this series, I did the research on this. In this series, there were 3 blowouts. Game 4 and Game 7, though, went to Indiana. I mean, just think about that. Game 4 and Game 7 goes to Indiana. 3 blowouts in the series, 2 of it goes to Indiana. Knicks fucking choked. That's just what it boils down to. They blew it. They blew the opportunity. But this is usual. This is Knicks basketball. This is what they do. I feel bad for Jalen Brunson. Broken left hand. Had to lead the game. Wasn't really shooting that well, prior to that. But still, I think he would have given them a better chance. Sucked to see him. He's a soldier and a fighter. He could be a great number 2, I think. I think that he is on the path to being a great player, but it was just heartbreaking to see him have to not finish the game, especially, breaking his hand, fracturing his hand, excuse me. It was just, that sucked. However, though, Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, just what a dog shit effort. I mean, that, if y'all don't really realize, Hartenstein gave you Pat Bev numbers. What do I mean? 0 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. By the way, I checked this NBA rating. He was negative 24 in efficiency rating. Fucking garbage. That was one of the worst performances. The fact that he was in there for 30 minutes and that's all he could give. I don't want to hear any Knicks fan talk to me about Isaiah Hartenstein. Well, he's not really known for offense. Didn't seem like it in that Sixers series. Didn't seem like it earlier in this series. Dog shit. Anyway, shout out to Alec Burks. 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. 2 of 5 from 3. Played out of his fucking mind. Got to give him credit. 27 minutes off the bench. So again, just like TJ McConnell, you had somebody giving bench production. It's just that through the injuries and your starters not really giving you too damn much, you lost the game. DiVincenzo, though, 39 fucking points. And I want to make sure I say this. He had 4 rebounds, 9 made threes. DiVincenzo, I love his game. I'm mad it never worked out with him in Sacramento. He played for Milwaukee. He had to leave. I'm glad that he found a spot because, man, he really was trying to keep them boys in this fucking series. I mean, he did everything he was supposed to do, then some. So all credit to DiVincenzo. I mean, but now the real. This team shouldn't commit any big money to any of these guys. I know Draymond Green caught hell. I think he was giving an interview and, people were like, oh, Draymond's a fucking hater. He's hating on them. No, actually, Draymond knows exactly what he's talking about. He's quite correct. There's no reason that you should commit big money to these guys. I think, honestly, what you need to do is evaluate your options this year. You got to the second round. You weren't getting to the conference finals regardless, whatever fucking delusions y'all had. And there were delusional Knicks fans I came across, very delusional, where they were like, hey, we're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then do what? Go to Boston and get swept? What were you going to do? Well, we played them. They're in our division. You're going to get your ass whipped. You didn't even respect the opponent you had in front of you. And you're already talking about the Eastern Conference Finals. It was disgusting. That being said, for this team to really get better, they're going to have to either get KD or Donovan Mitchell. I think KD's a legitimate option. I think Donovan Mitchell's a legitimate option. The dark horse legitimate option, though, that we all got to keep in mind, Zion. We all know Zion low-key is wanted to be a Knick. Donovan Mitchell as well. We know KD has business ties in New York. Just keep an eye on those three names. I think if they make a move for any of those guys, I mean, I saw some news the other day that, they should make a move for Paul George. I can tell you now that's very New York Knicks-esque. They make that move for Paul George. It just personifies that they're not serious about winning. So if I were the Knicks, if you had a brain, I mean, they probably won't, because again, guys, this is ineptitude at its finest. I mean, this is a shitty franchise. So keep this in mind. If you don't get KD, you have an option at Donovan Mitchell. You have an option at Zion. If they don't get any one of these three guys, we know what's going to happen. They're going to commit big money to these guys and then go nowhere. And then, to last but not least, the mediocrity continues. I mean, my God, your last finals appearance was 99. It was a gentleman's sweep against the Spurs. You lost 4-1. I don't understand where all this fervor was coming from. It was all this false hope and bravado where it was like, oh, we're going to win. And we're going to the conference finals and we got a shot. You haven't won a fucking championship since 1973. I mean, Willis Reed was on the roster, for God's sakes. My God, I mean, come on. In my lifetime, you've made 2 NBA finals, 94 and 99. You didn't win either one of them. Hakeem bust that ass. Uncle Timmy and David Robinson bust that ass. Shut up. You're not anywhere near the championship conversation. And this delusion that you had this year, keep in mind, Joel Embiid was hurt. Keep in mind, Giannis Antetokounmpo was hurt. This is all bullshit. You weren't going anywhere. And even if you had beaten the Pacers, if by some miracle, because again, you got your ass blown out 2 times in a 7-game series, if by any chance you had won, you weren't beating Boston. So again, Knicks fans, I'm glad that you got to the second round of the playoffs. I'm glad that you got to see your team do that shit again for God knows what, maybe the second or third time in fucking 20 some odd years. Either way, shut up. Realize that you're going to have to commit to a superstar, not Paul George, but do know, it is very much in play that your team commits to a guy like Paul George and then tells you to your face they're going to win a championship. That being said, we're going to hop on to my favorite series, of the second round, which was Oklahoma City versus Dallas. I thought it might go 7 and Dallas win, but damn it, it went 6, and I love it. Dallas won. Dallas is finally back in the Western Conference Finals. Credit to Luka, a.k.a. European LeBron. The man's still building that resume. Y'all. I've been calling him European LeBron. I've been talking about this extensively throughout the playoffs for a reason. I mean, another triple-double again in the playoff game. Another one, 29, 10, and 10. Kept his team in the game, kept his team afloat. Clutch passing, clutch shots. I mean, this is what we do. This is what you want to see from a player of his caliber in a closeout game. So at the end of the day, he did exactly what was required. damn, Luka, you listen, man. Test is now. Test is now. Luka can win. Luka and Kyrie can pull off this fucking series. Watch out. Also want to give credit to the rest of the starters. You know, they have 4 out of 5 starters in double figures. Dallas was on, man. And with me saying this, keep in mind, they were losing the game most of the game. They weren't winning. I mean, this is what's remarkable about this team. They weren't winning. Like, they started out, got hot, had a little lead, and then for most of the game, Oklahoma City had it in hand. And for them to be able to take it back, and I'll discuss that shortly, like how they were able to get it back, it was just remarkable. And I just want to make sure I give credit to all the starters that were out there. Great performance, great effort. Lively played well. Derek Jones, hell, he had a great series. Gafford played. The big men, this is something that I spoke on in this series. I said that the big men had to step up for this team to win. And damn it if they didn't. Shout out to the big men. They played well. Kyrie. I told y'all that we all know he's a fucking assassin, right? That's well known, well documented, right? But his savviness and his clutch shot making is something that does not get discussed enough. I mean, keep in mind, he hits this three in the middle of the third quarter, the 7:29 mark. That three is what gets the team. The team is losing. They're floundering. Luka's trying to get them going. He's kind of missing, kind of hitting shots. Defense is kind of tough on him. You know, he needed Kyrie to step up. And Kyrie just, from that third quarter on, took over. And to really show you how deep this run was for the Mavs, late in the fourth quarter, at the 3:34 mark, the Mavs had scored 6 points in a 42-second span to take the lead. Only had lost the lead one other point after that, and then regained it, obviously, through the free throws of P.J. Washington, which were clutch. And again, shout out to the Mavs, shout out to Jason Kidd, man. You know, getting the team to another Western Conference Finals, showing he's a legitimate coach, showing that he believed in Luka, he believed in Kyrie. You know, this team, like I said, they're a threat. They're a threat to win out the West. I think they can really win the Western Conference. I really do. They're my pick to win the West, in my personal opinion. So, that being said, great series by the Mavs. But I want to make sure that I highlight the Thunder. Before I go any further, SGA should have been fucking NBA MVP. And I'm just going to continue to say that. He should have been NBA MVP. Another great performance. I mean, the clutch shots this man was hitting. That was a fucking shooting performance. That is what you want. When you're teaching kids, if you're a coach, you know, you're teaching kids out there, you're teaching AAU squad. That's the type of shooting performance you want to see from your best player, where he's just going tit for fucking tat with the next guy. And it's not, no matter what the defense is doing, no matter what he has to do, he's going to get that shot. However, though, that late foul in the fourth at the 2 second mark, 2.5 seconds late in the game. I mean, that fourth quarter, that killed him. That was just, he'll learn that. He'll learn not to bite on those hesitation fakes. He'll learn to get his hands up properly, to not reach and tap in on the guy. But it really, really, really was detrimental to them because they had it. It was a 1-point lead. They had it. He's going for a three there. You know, if you foul him, that's 3 shots. You know, like, you gotta have the savvy. And he panicked. I understand. He panicked. He was really trying to play defense, and he fouled him. That once you catch him there, and the ref sees it, ref's less than 2 feet away, they calling it. They call it, especially if it's a 3-point shot. They calling it. Lou Dort was solid. You know, I want to make sure he gets his credit. He was damn sure solid out there. Chet Holmgren, though. Chet Holmgren, as he builds his frame and he builds his body up, he's going to be a serious fucking problem. You know, it's remarkable that this kid was a year removed from an ACL injury, and like to see him moving, how he played this year, you know, his future's bright. All 5 of their starters are in double figures. Again, bright future for this team. I mean, you can't be mad at when you see a young team play this way and the promise that they showed. However, one of the major flaws to this game, and one of the reasons they lost, they couldn't slow down Kyrie. I mean, hell, from the third quarter on, once he started going and he started hitting shots, and then he's passing, and now Luka's in a flow, it was over. It was over. But again, young team, they'll learn from this. They may be back in this position again next year. I strongly expect them to be back in this position again next year, where they're competing again to win the West or competing to be in the Western Conference Finals. So again, their future is bright. And Thunder, don't hold your head down too low. Yes, y'all should have won, but at the end of the day, gotta give credit where credit is due. Kyrie's just a fucking killer. And that would be it for my NBA coverage for the night. Again, as I said, make sure that you catch that first game of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, Pacers at Celtics. Like I said, I do think the Celtics are going to win the series. However, I do have the Celtics on upset alert because I think the Pacers are a legitimate threat. And that would be it for today, guys. I thank you as always for watching and listening, wherever you may be. Take care, be blessed, and enjoy.